This is a rant about how paganism is being described by fellow pagans through memes. You see, social media can greatly influence how people perceive things. So if you have a lot of negative images about something, something could be viewed in a very negative manner, because if you're new to this, you're very susceptible to these concepts. And so I've been seeing memes up there where people are, they're basically saying that because they're pagan, because they are a witch, they are tough, they're mean, they can handle everything. But what happened to the polite pagan? We have this concept, of standing strong and taking no crap, but we also talk about being in harmony with nature. Well, how is it if we only show pictures of, skinny, big-breasted women with weapons and fur armor and such? How is that showing harmony and peace with nature? It's showing that we are aggressive and basically barbaric, warlike, when many of us don't want that impression given about each other. We want a community that looks stable, and these memes show the exact opposite, in my opinion. The next part of my rant is about the goddess focus. There seems to be a ton of memes out there that focus on the goddess. Thank the goddess for this, invoke the goddess for that, goddess bless this, goddess bless that. And I have no problem with people honoring the goddess, but what about the god aspect? When you look at traditional Wicca, it talks about there being a patron god and patron goddess. Paganism as a whole, most of the traditions are polytheists, which means that there are many gods, many goddesses. But we have a lot of people out there that only will post goddess-oriented memes. There are people out there that actually believe that paganism is a goddess religion. The concept of a god has been reduced to the consort of the goddess. We say around Yule, which is right around the corner, that the male god dies and then is resurrected in his return. But yet, if we look at science, we know that the sun never dies. It's just going on a different angle due to the tilt of the earth. And that if the sun was gone, that the earth would be a big ball of ice, and life would not be possible. So we need the sun. So they want to give full credit to the mother, the earth, but, when it comes to the male, the father aspect, they don't care. Why is the question? And that is because we have so many pagans these days that were former Christians, and they are so hurt still by what they went through with Christianity that they are refusing to honor a god. They are refusing to deal with their anger. They are refusing to deal with their pain, and thus they will just focus on the goddess. So, and then they are refusing to see that Christianity is one religion, paganism is a completely different group of religions. They are separate. So why must you bring this Christian hatred into paganism? And thus just focusing on the goddess. And thus you are given the wrong interpretation of paganism to people who are new to paganism. There are people that believe that paganism is goddess worship. It's not. We have people like Starhawk that have the Gaia tradition. We have Z Budapest, who is a Dianist. She believes that females only. She excludes males from her temple. And you see, this is just a bad representation of paganism. I had to create memes that questioned why people are basically shunning the male god concept. And some of them have actually been ridiculed because they're saying that I am a fragile male and all that BS. And they didn't want to answer the question of why they hate men. So please, I want you to think about what I've said. Look at those memes that I have posted here. And I want you to contemplate on how you want paganism to be perceived by others, and thus also how others perceive you. Are you hostile, or are you trying to be in harmony? Are you close-minded to a God concept, or do you actually have an open mind and open heart to many concepts? All right? So everybody, take care. Be at peace.